We stand with Palestine. We stand for justice. We stand for human rights. We stand for freedom. For too long, the Palestinian people have endured unimaginable suffering. Their lives have been stolen, their land occupied, their homes destroyed, their stories silenced. This is not a conflict, it is oppression. For decades, Palestinians have lived under a brutal occupation. They face daily humiliations. They face restrictions on their movement. They face the constant threat of violence, and the world watches. The world often remains silent. But we can no longer be bystanders to this injustice. We must acknowledge the humanity of the Palestinian people. They deserve the same rights and freedoms as anyone else. They deserve to live in peace. They deserve to raise their children in safety. They deserve a future free from fear and oppression. The recent escalation of violence in Gaza is horrifying. Hospitals bombed, schools destroyed, families torn apart. These acts are unconscionable, these acts are criminal, and those responsible must be held accountable. The world is watching, but is it listening? Are we, as a global community, going to stand by and allow these atrocities to continue? Or are we going to demand better, demand justice, demand peace? The answer is clear. We must act. We must raise our voices. We must hold our leaders accountable. We must pressure our governments to take a stand against this injustice. We cannot claim to care about human rights while turning a blind eye to the plight of the Palestinian people. Silence is complicity. Inaction is complicity. We must do better. The devaluation of Palestinian lives, particularly by some governments in the global north, is unacceptable. A hierarchy of human suffering should not exist. All lives have value. All voices deserve to be heard. Where is the outrage when Palestinian civilians are killed? Where is the condemnation when Palestinian homes are demolished? Where is the accountability when international law is violated? The silence is deafening, but we will not be silenced. We will continue to speak out against this injustice. We will continue to demand better. We need an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. We need unhindered access for humanitarian aid. We need accountability for the war crimes that have been committed. This is not a Muslim issue. This is not an Arab issue. This is a human issue. And it demands a human response, a response rooted in compassion, a response rooted in justice, a response rooted in the fundamental belief that all human beings are created equal. We call on people of conscience around the world to stand up for Palestine. Educate yourselves on the history of this conflict. Challenge the narratives that perpetuate injustice. Support organizations working on the ground to provide aid and advocate for peace. Let us be clear. Criticizing the actions of the Israeli government is not anti-Semitic. It is not anti-Semitic to condemn human rights violations. It is not anti-Semitic to stand up for the oppressed. In fact, to remain silent in the face of injustice is to betray the values of equality and justice that define us all. We must stand against all forms of oppression, including Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. We must create a world where all people are treated with dignity and respect. The Palestinian people will no longer be silenced. Their voices will be heard. Their struggle for freedom will not be in vain. Stand with Palestine. Stand for justice. Stand for humanity.